If it's about love, if it's about love.
Hey, what's up everybody? This is Austin Haynes with the Waking Justice Project, and this is your daily wake-up call. Here's what the corporatocracy is up to today, December 20th, 2019. You can visit our website at wakingjustice.org for more details. Here are the headlines. It's Freakout-Friday today on your daily wake-up call, where every Friday we spotlight indie journos who are pushing the leading edge of independent journalism. These are the folks who expose the hard truths that make us ask, why aren't we all freaking out about this? Today we profile the work of indie journo Krystal Ball. Krystal is the host of the morning news show called Rising on Hill TV. We'll get into more about her current work in a moment, but first we want to give you some background on Krystal. As you'll see, her evolution as a true left progressive has been a remarkable journey. Krystal was born and raised in rural Virginia. Her mother is a former Catholic nun turned feminist, an education professional running a Montessori school, and her father is a physicist who did his PhD on crystals, thus the name Krystal Ball. In Virginia, Krystal grew up around farms and guns. She attended public schools and was an undefeated state champion swimmer. She's also a third-generation lifetime member of the NRA. Krystal got a degree in economics from the University of Virginia and worked as a CPA with US federal courts to redesign their civil and criminal accounting systems. In 2010, at the young age of 28, Krystal decided to run for the US Congress as a Democrat against an incumbent Republican. And that's when things went global for Krystal. During the campaign, her opponent released some racy pictures of Krystal from a Halloween party back in her college days. She was dressed in a black bustier and Santa hat. She had a leash on her date who was dressed as Rudolph the reindeer, whose red nose was a strap-on red-colored dildo. The pictures did their damage, and Krystal eventually lost the election. But her immediate and forceful response to what she called the sexist double standard in America won her international respect. "You have to be totally comfortably honest," Krystal says. "They intended to shame me, to make me want to give up. Instead, they gave me a platform to expose their sexist double standard. It became a stepping stone for me to go on and have an even larger voice, something that I actually feel really proud of." Over the next 2 years, she wrote progressively left-leaning political commentary for various corporate outlets, including The Atlantic, and she was a guest commentator on various political news shows. And in 2012, she landed her own show on MSNBC called The Cycle. It was a roundtable political talk show with 3 other co-hosts. Over the next few years, The Cycle developed a solid audience and Krystal became one of the most recognized faces on MSNBC. The experience helped her develop an inside perspective on politics and corporate media. And in a 2014 segment of The Cycle, Krystal delivered a tactful but devastating indictment of then presidential wannabe Hillary Clinton. She said, "It's clear now that we have 2 economies, one for the elites and one for everyone else. And in a time when corporations have hijacked our politics, is someone who sat on the rabidly anti-union board of Walmart the right person to restore workers' rights? We are still reeling from a global financial disaster due to full-hearted bank deregulation. Is someone who took $400,000 to give 2 speeches at Goldman Sachs the person we need to wrest control from the big banks? And by the way, someone whose husband did much of the deregulation that got us into the trouble in the first place? Back in 2008, when all my peers were jumping on the Obama bandwagon, I backed Hillary, but now I must say, don't run, Hillary, don't run," unquote. Within a year, MSNBC fired Krystal and canceled her show, and we all know how the 2016 election turned out. Over the next few years, Krystal went on to do other political commentary and writings, including authoring a book in 2017 titled Reversing Apocalypse: Hijacking the Democratic Party to Save the World. In her book, Krystal talks about how the Democratic Party has gone from being the party of workers and New Deal progressives to the party that sold out to the corporatocracy and in turn gave us Trump. She argues that the only litmus test for Democratic candidates today should be about economic issues and inclusion of all working class Americans, including those who voted for Trump, and that social issues like guns and abortion need to take a back seat to issues of economic justice. In 2018, Krystal began co-hosting her current project, Rising, on Hill TV. It's a daily morning news show that she co-hosts with Sagar and Jetty. Krystal has gained a huge online following, and she has continued to evolve her critique of the political establishment. And just to remind you how far she's come, in 2009, Krystal backed Hillary Clinton over Barack Obama. By Obama's second term, she realized that both Obama and Hillary were sellouts to the corporate establishment. So early on in the 2016 election, she then endorsed Elizabeth Warren over Hillary. But now in 2019, she regularly calls out Elizabeth Warren for being, quote, just a player in the game, as Warren herself has put it. And now, Krystal pretty consistently supports the three most anti-establishment candidates in the Democratic primary: Bernie Sanders, Tulsi Gabbard, and Andrew Yang. On her show yesterday, she slammed the Democrats for wasting the country's time on Russiagate, Ukrainegate, and now Trump's impeachment. She said, look, the president has committed real harm to this country, but of course the Democrats seized on the weakest and dumbest argument they could possibly make against him. That bolsters their own establishment allies on warmongering around the world. Imagine how much could have been done if they spent even a quarter of that energy to get the minimum wage up to $15 an hour, get healthcare improved, and prescription drug prices down. Issues that people actually care about. Well, right on, Krystal. We agree. Krystal regularly calls out establishment politicians in both parties as neoliberals. What she means is that both parties are just the right and left wings of the US corporatocracy. It's all just political theater to keep us distracted and divided against each other, while the corporate elites enrich themselves and push the working class deeper into debt and economic inequality. If you want to follow Krystal's work, you can subscribe to the Hills YouTube channel or follow them on Facebook. We'll have all those links in the article for this podcast on our website at wakingjustice.org. While you're there, you can sign up to get your free daily wake-up call delivered right to your inbox each day. Just fill out the quick form at the top right of our homepage, and each morning by 4:20 a.m., we'll email you a link and quick description of the podcast for that day. And if you want to learn more about how all of us in the work of global justice can join together in strategic boycott and finally force this corporatocracy to the people's bargaining table to end all this injustice and corruption and to help save our planet, please check out our About page and listen to our first podcast. And if you want more info on how you can get involved, you can email us at info@wakingjustice.org. We'd love to hear from you. We're running out of time, y'all, so join us. Peace.
You must be involved in the struggle for freedom and justice.
If it's about love, if it's about
Justice is waking, justice is rising. Justice is waking, justice is rising.
If it's about
Justice is waking, justice is rising. And it ain't just us, it's all of us. Justice is waking, justice is rising. And it ain't just us, it's all of us.
if it's about
May every soul unite, tend the fire and let old coals relight. I'm a citizen of the world and we fight for the rights of everybody to live a truly free life. Red or yellow, black or white, left or right, gay or straight, human or animal, all life. Cause what matters is what is in common. If you know it, stand tall and keep dropping the knowledge.
Justice is waking, justice is rising. And it ain't just us, it's all of us.
if it's about love.